Hello there and welcome. Tonight, let us step far back into Earth's deep past, a world where the first dinosaurs were still only shadows on the horizon of time, a dawn of an era that would change life forever. Close your eyes and imagine standing on this ancient Earth. The continents are not yet divided as we know them today. Most of the land is fused into one enormous body, stretching almost endlessly from horizon to horizon, the supercontinent Pangaea. The air feels different, sometimes heavy, sometimes thin, and the land beneath your feet seems both familiar and alien. This is the dawn of the dinosaurs, nearly 250 million years ago, in the aftermath of one of the greatest catastrophes our planet has ever endured, the Permian-Triassic extinction. Almost every form of life had been tested and many had not survived. Up to 90% of species vanished. Whole forests, whole seas, whole branches of the evolutionary tree disappeared. The Earth was quieter, emptier, but it was also ready for renewal. The ground beneath you is a patchwork of extremes. To the west, red deserts stretch under a hot, relentless sun. Sand dunes roll like waves across the horizon. Their grains are stained iron red, proof of a world baked and starved of rain. To the east, mountain chains rise, jagged and raw, remnants of ancient collisions that once forced continents together. They cast long shadows over valleys carved by rivers, the lifelines of this harsh land. Above, the sky is vast and open. With so much land gathered in one place, winds sweep unbroken for thousands of kilometers. Clouds form heavy and thick along the coasts, spilling rain into lush forests. But farther inland, those same winds carry only dust and heat, leaving the heart of the continent parched. If you breathe in, the air is not quite the same as ours. Oxygen levels have fluctuated over the past ages. At times they were high, fueling giant insects. But now, during the early Triassic, they are lower, thinner, making every breath harder for large animals. For us, it would feel like standing at the top of a mountain, where the air is sharp and shallow. Yet the creatures of this age are adapted to it. Their lungs and bodies have evolved to endure. The forests here are not yet filled with the towering flowering plants we know today. There are no grasses underfoot, no familiar flowers along the rivers. Instead, the land is covered in strange plants. Seed ferns with fronds like great green fans, conifers stretching tall and spindly toward the light, and horsetails clustering near water. Their roots clutch the soil tightly, holding together the earth in a world still recovering from devastation. Insects still hum through the humid air, though not in the giant forms of earlier times. Dragonflies skim over rivers. Beetles crawl through leaf litter. They are smaller now, yet just as vital, breaking down plants, spreading nutrients, feeding the reptiles that stalk them. And reptiles truly are the rulers of this land. The old amphibians still linger, but they are bound to the rivers and swamps, tied to the water like fading relics of a wetter world. Reptiles, on the other hand, are free to roam the dry ground. They carry with them a remarkable invention, the amniotic egg, a self-contained cradle of life that no longer needs a pond or stream for safety. It is this simple adaptation that has allowed them to spread into deserts, plains, and forests alike. Among them are strange, unfamiliar creatures. Some look like squat lizards, their limbs splayed wide. Others are heavier, with tusk-like teeth or sails of skin stretched along their backs. Many belong to the group we call synapsids, the so-called mammal-like reptiles. They are not dinosaurs, nor are they yet mammals, but they are our ancestors. Their bones tell of warm-blooded beginnings, of teeth that can grind and chew, of bodies experimenting with new ways of living on land. Roaming among them are archosaurs, creatures with upright postures and powerful limbs. They are the cousins of crocodiles, pterosaurs, and dinosaurs yet to come. In the early Triassic, they are still small, nimble hunters darting between shadows. But in time, they will grow, and from their ranks will emerge the rulers of the next age. The Earth itself is restless. Volcanoes rise along the seams of Pangaea, pouring ash and smoke into the skies. Each eruption releases clouds of carbon dioxide, warming the air, feeding a greenhouse climate that spreads across the land. The soil is rich with volcanic minerals, dark and fertile along rivers and valleys. But the destruction is never far behind. Lava flows scorch forests. Ash blankets plains, choking rivers. Life survives, but always with the awareness that the land is shifting beneath its feet. Seas also shape this dawn world. Surrounding Pangaea is the immense Panthalassa Ocean, stretching seemingly without end. Its waves crash on coasts that are both familiar and strange. Shallow seas flood the edges of the continent, creating lagoons and wetlands rich with marine life. In these waters swim early sharks, armored fish, and coiled ammonites, creatures whose spiral shells glint like fossils yet to be uncovered. Each tide carries nutrients inland, feeding forests along the shore. Each flood carries sediment outward, delivering minerals to the shallow seas. Land and ocean are bound together in a cycle that sustains life on both sides. Standing here in this moment of Earth's history, the dinosaurs are only beginning. Small, lightly built, fast-moving reptiles, hardly the giants we imagine when we think of their name. They are unremarkable to the eye compared to the dominant synapsids of the time. But evolution is not a race that crowns its champions quickly. In the niches left empty by extinction, new opportunities are waiting. The Earth is a stage, and the actors are taking their places. Archosaurs, synapsids, insects, forests, and seas, all are parts of the same unfolding story. A story written in survival, in adaptation, and in the quiet persistence of life after disaster. This is the dawn of dinosaurs. Not yet the reign of giants, but the first footsteps toward it. A world of deserts and forests, rivers and volcanoes, storms and silences. A world that seems harsh and unstable, but within its extremes lies the promise of what is to come. And so, we stand at the threshold. The earth has been scarred, but it endures. Life has been cut down, but it grows again. Out of this struggle, new forms will rise. Some will fade, some will flourish, and among them, quietly at first, the first dinosaurs will emerge, ready to inherit a world unlike any before it. The world you are standing on is not the same world that existed only a few million years before. It has been remade by fire, by poison, and by silence. Roughly 252 million years ago, the Permian period ended in catastrophe. Scientists call it the Great Dying, and with good reason. More than 9 out of every 10 species in the oceans vanished. On land, plants and animals fared little better. Whole forests collapsed. Entire lineages disappeared forever. If you had walked this earth then, you would have felt the silence pressing in around you. The buzzing of insects would have been faint. The chatter of amphibians and reptiles in the rivers would have been muted. The seas themselves, once alive with corals and fish, would have looked strangely barren. What caused this? The earth itself was the culprit. In what is now Siberia, volcanic activity on a scale almost beyond comprehension tore through the crust. Lava did not just spill, it flooded. For hundreds of thousands of years, rivers of molten rock covered the land, releasing immense amounts of carbon dioxide and methane. The sky grew heavy with ash and gas. Global temperatures soared. Oceans turned acidic. Their waters, robbed of oxygen, suffocated nearly every living thing. Life clung on, but only just. In the darkened skies and choking seas, small survivors endured. And from them, slowly, patiently, the story of the Triassic began to unfold. Picture the Earth just a few million years after this devastation. The land is quiet, but it is no longer dead. Shoots of green push through ash-blackened soil. Rivers, though still muddy with sediment, are flowing again. Along their banks, early forests of conifers and seed ferns take root. The air is warm, hotter than today. Seasons swing between extremes. Summers that sear the land, winters that bite hard and cold, even within the same region. The absence of stabilizing oceans in the deep interior of Pangaea makes climates brutal. Rain is unpredictable, falling in floods that carve new valleys, then vanishing for months, leaving cracked red earth behind. Yet life adapts. Insects hum through the forests again, smaller than their giant ancestors but still vital. They carry pollen from plant to plant, building the beginnings of new ecosystems. Amphibians lurk along rivers and lakes, but their numbers are fewer than before, their dependence on water a disadvantage in a drying world. Reptiles spread farther, no longer tethered to ponds for reproduction. Their eggs, safe within shells, are tiny fortresses of survival. Among the most successful creatures of this recovering Earth are the synapsids. These so-called mammal-like reptiles had already ruled much of the late Permian, and some of their descendants weathered the extinction. They are strange to look at. Squat bodies, sturdy legs, faces with toothy jaws. Some bear ridges or sails along their backs, perhaps used to regulate heat under the burning sun. Imagine walking across a Triassic floodplain and seeing a creature like Lystrosaurus. Its body is barrel-shaped, its tusk-like teeth jutting from a blunt snout. This animal is no predator. It is a herbivore chewing on tough seed ferns. It is small, dog-sized, but it is everywhere. For tens of millions of years, Lystrosaurus will dominate the Earth, a living symbol of survival in a time of scarcity. Elsewhere, other synapsids, some larger, some predatory, prowl through forests and along rivers. They are diverse, but they will not hold onto power forever. Their time as the dominant land animals is beginning to fade, and new challengers are rising. From the shadows come the archosaurs. At first, they are small, quick creatures, lightly built, standing higher on their limbs than the splayed synapsids. Their posture gives them speed, endurance, and energy. They run across open ground, hunt in packs, and adapt quickly to the extremes of climate. It is from this group that the great lineages of the Mesozoic will emerge. Crocodiles, pterosaurs, and dinosaurs all trace their ancestry back to these early archosaurs. They are not yet the giants that will dominate the Jurassic or Cretaceous. Many are no larger than a fox or a dog, but they have the advantage of adaptability. As the Earth recovers, as climates swing and landscapes shift, archosaurs find ways to thrive where others falter. Their rise is gradual. They do not overthrow the synapsids overnight. Instead, they creep into new niches, first as scavengers, then as hunters, and eventually as rulers. To truly imagine this early Triassic Earth, look around you. In one direction, the land is desert, vast, unbroken, and red. Winds whip dust into the air, carrying it for thousands of kilometers. By day, the sun blazes so hot that the ground shimmers. By night, the heat vanishes, leaving the land cold, silent, and exposed under skies filled with stars. In another direction, green river valleys stretch like corridors through the deserts. Here, life concentrates. Herds of Lystrosaurus browse among seed ferns. Packs of archosaurs prowl the edges, waiting for weakness. Amphibians, clinging to what is left of their world, sit half buried in the mud, their wide eyes watching both air and water. Mountains rise in the distance, formed from the collisions that once fused Pangaea together. Snow caps glint on their summits, even while the valleys below swelter. Their rivers cut through stone, feeding fertile floodplains where forests grow thick and tall. It is a world of contrasts. Deserts beside forests, swamps beside plains, volcanoes beside rivers. Extremes press life from every side, but those that endure are stronger for it. Step toward the coast, and the story shifts again. Here, the immense Panthalassa Ocean spreads outward, a horizon of endless blue. Its waters are warmer than today, stirred by currents that sweep unbroken around the planet. On shallow shelves near the land, life returns in slow waves. Corals, once nearly extinguished, are beginning to reappear. Small reefs form, fragile but growing. Ammonites, the coiled-shelled relatives of squid, drift through the water. Fish of many forms patrol the shallows, while sharks, already ancient survivors, slice through deeper waters with quiet efficiency. Farther out, the seas are emptier than before. Vast stretches of water remain deserts of their own, robbed of oxygen, unable to sustain complex life. But little by little, balance is returning. The ocean, like the land, is healing. This is the Earth at the start of the Triassic, scarred by disaster, yet full of opportunity. Synapsids remain strong, archosaurs are rising, and plants are spreading again across the land. The oceans, though battered, are finding their rhythm. Dinosaurs are not yet here in their familiar form, but the conditions are forming. Wide open landscapes, shifting climates, and empty ecological niches left by extinction. In this crucible of change, small archosaurs are adapting in ways that will set them apart. And soon, very soon, in the language of deep time, the first true dinosaurs will emerge. The stage is set. The curtain is lifting. The age of dinosaurs is about to begin. The silence after the great dying has faded. Forests are returning, rivers are alive again, and the air hums with insects. The earth is still restless. Its volcanoes erupt, its climate swings, its lands are harsh. But life is no longer just surviving. It is adapting, changing, and diversifying. It is during this time, the late Triassic period, around 230 million years ago, that something extraordinary begins. The first true dinosaurs step into the world. Do not picture towering giants. Not yet. The first dinosaurs are small, nimble creatures, no larger than a dog or a man. They are light on their feet, built for speed and agility. Their bodies are slender, their tails long for balance, their legs positioned straight beneath them rather than splayed to the side. This posture is their secret. It allows them to move with greater efficiency than most other reptiles of the time. Imagine standing on the banks of a Triassic river. The forest around you is dense with conifers and seed ferns. The air is warm, heavy with humidity. From the undergrowth, a small dinosaur darts into view. Its feet grip the soil as it runs, its tail streaming behind it like a rudder. Its sharp eyes scan for insects, small reptiles, or perhaps the eggs of larger creatures. This is Aeoraptor, one of the earliest known dinosaurs. Barely a meter long, it is quick, alert, and adaptable. Nearby, another early dinosaur moves with a different gait. Herrerasaurus, larger, perhaps 3 meters long, is leaner, built for hunting. Its jaws are lined with sharp teeth, its claws ready to strike. It stalks lizard-like reptiles near the river's edge, lunging with sudden bursts of speed. It is still primitive compared to later carnivores, but it represents something new. A predator with a body built for pursuit, balance, and power. These are not yet the rulers of the earth. They are pioneers, experimenting with forms and behaviors that will one day allow their descendants to dominate. The first dinosaurs do not walk alone. They are newcomers in a world already filled with strange and powerful rivals. Archosaurs of another lineage, ancestors of crocodiles, are abundant. Some are armored, lumbering across the land with scales and ridges. Others are terrifying hunters. Postosuchus, for example, can grow nearly as large as the biggest early dinosaurs. Standing high on powerful legs, its body resembles a cross between a crocodile and a dinosaur. With a skull full of sharp teeth and a body built for ambush, it is one of the apex predators of the Triassic. There are also the Roysuchians, fearsome reptiles that dominate many ecosystems. Heavy-bodied and imposing, they crush prey beneath their weight and strength. For the small, fragile dinosaurs, these giants are both competition and constant threat. Even among the herbivores, dinosaurs are not yet in control. Other reptiles, like the Dinosaurs, armored with plates and spikes, roam the forests. Their bodies are low and tank-like, well defended against predators. Dinosaurs at this time are more opportunists than rulers, finding niches where they can survive while larger, more established reptiles hold power. To understand the struggle of these early dinosaurs, look around at their world. The land is still dominated by Pangaea, the supercontinent. Deserts stretch across its heart, red and dry. But in the late Triassic, wetter climates return to the edges, where rivers and lakes create fertile oases. Forests rise, filled with conifers, cycads, and tall ginkgo-like trees. Beneath their canopy, ferns and horsetails grow thick, carpeting the ground in green. Rains fall in seasonal torrents, swelling rivers into vast floodplains. These floodplains are home to herds of herbivores, including early relatives of the crocodiles and small, plant-eating dinosaurs. Swamps form in low-lying areas, buzzing with insects and crawling with amphibians that still cling to existence. Above, the sky is restless. Thunderclouds gather quickly in the heat, unleashing storms that roll across the land. Lightning strikes ignite wildfires, filling the air with smoke. But these fires clear space for new plants to grow, feeding the cycle of destruction and renewal. At night, the stars are brilliant. With fewer modern city lights to hide them, the Milky Way stretches in a dazzling arc across the sky. Dinosaurs, small and alert, move through the darkness, hunting insects or avoiding larger predators that prowl under the moonlight. The oceans of the late Triassic are as dramatic as the land. Along the coasts, shallow waters teem with life. Ammonites spiral through the seas, their shells glinting in the light. Fish dart among reefs rebuilt after the Permian disaster. Sharks, sleek and efficient, rule the deeper waters. But new giants appear here too. Marine reptiles such as ichthyosaurs and nothosaurs dominate the seas. Imagine an ichthyosaur leaping from the water, its body shaped like a dolphin, but its jaws lined with teeth. It is swift, powerful, and perfectly adapted to hunting fish. In the shallows, placodont's with broad, crushing teeth graze on shellfish. The oceans are alive again, but the predators of the sea are as strange and fearsome as those on land. Even the skies are beginning to change. From among the archosaurs comes another experiment, creatures that will one day master flight. Early pterosaurs stretch their wings, skin membranes supported by elongated fingers. They climb into the air, awkward at first, but soon glide gracefully along cliffs and over coasts. The age of flying reptiles has begun. Though small and vulnerable, dinosaurs carry within them the traits that will make them extraordinary. Their upright stance, their efficient stride, their light but strong bones, all are advantages in a world of extremes. They reproduce quickly, adapt well, and spread into new environments as rivals fall. The Triassic period is a testing ground. Crocodile ancestors dominate many regions, but as climates shift, as deserts expand and seas retreat, dinosaurs quietly expand. They are not yet the undisputed rulers, but they are survivors, growing stronger with each generation. Soon, an event will tilt the balance. At the end of the Triassic, another extinction will sweep across the Earth. Many of the great crocodile-like reptiles will vanish, and in the space left behind, the dinosaurs will rise. But for now, here in the late Triassic, they are still small. They dart through forests, stalk prey along rivers, and scavenge where they can. They are shadows of the giants to come, fragile yet determined. Their footsteps are faint, but they echo into the ages, carrying the promise of the Jurassic world waiting just beyond the horizon of time. The Triassic world has been a crucible, harsh, unstable, and full of competitors. For tens of millions of years, dinosaurs remained only minor players. Small hunters, quick scavengers, agile insect eaters. They lived in the shadow of larger, older lineages that still held power over the land. But Earth does not stay still. Continents shift, volcanoes roar, climates swing from wet to dry, and every cycle reshapes the balance of life. Toward the end of the Triassic, the world enters another period of upheaval. Out of this chaos, dinosaurs will seize their chance. To understand the dinosaurs' rise, we must first meet the rivals that once overshadowed them. Foremost among them are the Roysuchians. These crocodile-like reptiles, some as long as a car, are the apex predators of their time. Their bodies are heavy and muscular, their jaws filled with blade-like teeth. Some stand tall on powerful hind legs, stalking floodplains with a posture that looks deceptively dinosaur-like. When they lunge, prey rarely escapes. Then there are the Dinosaurs. They are herbivores, armored from head to tail with bony plates, their backs ridged like living fortresses. Low to the ground, they move through forests and floodplains, rooting in the soil for plants with pig-like snouts. They are well defended, and predators think twice before attacking them. Phytosaurs also roam the wetlands. At first glance, they look like crocodiles, but their nostrils sit high on their heads, just in front of their eyes. This adaptation allows them to lie almost completely submerged, waiting motionless until an unsuspecting animal draws near. With a sudden snap of jaws, they drag their prey beneath the water. These animals dominate the Triassic. For much of this age, they are stronger, larger, and more established than dinosaurs. They fill the roles of both hunters and herbivores, leaving little room for the small, lightly built newcomers. And yet, the balance is fragile. Around 201 million years ago, the Earth changes once more. Deep within the crust, the supercontinent of Pangaea begins to crack. The first rifts open, splitting valleys that will one day widen into the Atlantic Ocean. Lava fountains erupt along these rifts, pouring fire across the land. The scale is unimaginable. These eruptions last not for days or years, but for hundreds of thousands of years. Sheets of basalt cover vast regions, building new landscapes overnight. The skies darken with ash. Carbon dioxide floods the atmosphere, heating the planet. Acid rain falls, stripping leaves from forests. The oceans warm, their chemistry shifting once again toward suffocation. It is a time of chaos. Species that had thrived in stability find themselves unable to adapt to the rapid changes. Food chains break down. Ecosystems collapse. The end-Triassic extinction has begun. The mighty Roysuchians, rulers of the floodplains, disappear. Their bodies, once the terror of smaller reptiles and early dinosaurs alike, leave only fossils behind. Phytosaurs, too, vanish. Their long-snouted ambushes end in silence. Even many of the armored Dinosaurs are lost, their lineages cut short by climate swings they cannot withstand. The collapse is sudden in geological terms, perhaps within only 1,000,000 years, a blink compared to the long ages of Earth. For the dinosaurs, it is as though the stage has been cleared. The great rivals that overshadowed them for so long are gone, and in their absence, dinosaurs expand. What makes dinosaurs so resilient? Their very bodies are built for endurance. Their upright stance allows them to travel farther with less energy. Their hollow bones make them light, yet strong. Many are fast, agile, and efficient. In a world of instability, these traits become invaluable. As ecosystems collapse, dinosaurs adapt. Herbivorous forms spread into forests and plains, feeding on conifers and cycads that endure the changing climate. Carnivorous dinosaurs, quick and coordinated, seize opportunities as top predators disappear. Within only a few million years after the extinction, dinosaurs are no longer minor creatures on the sidelines. They are the dominant animals on land. Picture a floodplain not long after the extinction. Forests are sparse, the soil still scarred by eruptions. But through the dust and new growth, herds of small, plant-eating dinosaurs move together, heads bent low to graze. Nearby, a predator, slender, two-legged, sharp-toothed, stalks them. No Roysuckians thunder across the plain, no armored etosaurs block the way. The landscape belongs to dinosaurs now. We know this story not from imagination alone, but from stone. Fossil beds across the world capture the shift. In late Triassic rocks, we find Roysuckians, etosaurs, and phytosaurs. In younger rocks, those bones vanish. In their place appear the bones of dinosaurs, more and more abundant, more and more varied. Across South America, Africa, and Europe, early dinosaurs like Coelophysis leave their slender skeletons behind. Herds of these small carnivores once crossed the floodplains, their tracks pressed into the mud. In North America, their footprints are still preserved, marching in lines across ancient riverbeds. These traces tell us of a world in transition, where small, fast dinosaurs grew into packs and began to dominate the landscape. It is here, in the wake of extinction, that the Jurassic dawns, and with it the true age of dinosaurs begins. The end Triassic extinction is one of Earth's great dividing lines. It swept away the old rulers and cleared space for the new. Dinosaurs, once insignificant, now rise to dominance. They will grow larger, stranger, and more diverse than any land animals before them. Some will reach the size of buses, others will soar into the skies, and still others will rule the seas. The Triassic has ended, and the Jurassic has begun. The stage is set for one of the most remarkable chapters in Earth's history, the reign of the dinosaurs. The Triassic curtain falls, and a new age rises. The world has been shaken by fire and extinction, yet out of that devastation, life has not only endured, it has transformed. Dinosaurs, once small and overshadowed, now step forward as the rulers of the land. It is the beginning of the Jurassic period, around 200 million years ago. The Earth itself feels different. The air is warmer, the skies clearer after the storms of volcanic fury. Pangaea is beginning to crack and fragment, the first hints of continents drifting apart. Rivers carve new valleys, seas spread into rift basins, and climates shift with the changing geography. It is a planet still in motion, but in this motion lies opportunity, and seizing it, the dinosaurs grow. The earliest dinosaurs of the Triassic were small, lightweight, and swift. In the Jurassic, a new form emerges: size. Walk into a Jurassic floodplain, and the ground trembles beneath your feet. Ahead, a herd of sauropods, the first great giants of the dinosaur world, stretches across the horizon. Their necks rise like living towers, sweeping above the trees. Their tails lash behind them, heavy and long, counterbalancing their enormous bodies. Each step presses deep into the soil, leaving footprints larger than your hand. Among them is Vulcanodon, an early sauropod from southern Pangaea. Not yet the colossal giants of later ages, but already vast compared to their ancestors. Its long neck allows it to reach vegetation high above, pulling down fronds and branches that smaller animals cannot touch. In this way, sauropods open new ecological doors. They feed where others cannot, and in doing so, they shape entire forests. Soon, even larger sauropods will appear. Shunosaurus, with its heavy body and clubbed tail, grazes in Chinese valleys. Cetiosaurus, the whale lizard, roams the European lowlands, one of the first truly massive dinosaurs, stretching over 15 meters in length. These creatures are living testaments to what the dinosaur body plan can achieve. Endurance, size, and dominance on a scale no other land animal had ever reached. But where there are giants, there must also be predators. In the early Jurassic, carnivorous dinosaurs grow in strength and variety. Gone are the small, dog-sized hunters of the Triassic. In their place come sleek, powerful predators like Dilophosaurus. Nearly 7 meters long, with twin crests rising from its skull, Dilophosaurus is swift and dangerous. It stalks floodplains in packs, ambushing herbivores that stray from safety. Smaller hunters remain too, Coelophysis and its kin, fast and agile, darting through undergrowth in search of prey. But they now share the land with much larger theropods, whose footsteps echo like drums across the plains. The arms race between predator and prey is accelerating. As herbivores grow larger, predators grow stronger. As herds move in groups for safety, hunters adapt with strategy, speed, and cunning. The foundations of later Jurassic giants, the allosaurs, the megalosaurs, are being laid in these early carnivores. To walk through a Jurassic landscape is to enter a greener, wetter world than the deserts of the Triassic. Forests dominate the coasts and valleys. Conifers stretch high into the sky, their needle-like leaves whispering in the wind. Cycads and ginkgos cluster beneath them, their broad fronds casting shade. Horsetails grow tall along riverbanks, their hollow stems swaying in the breeze. Beneath this canopy, the ground is alive with ferns, mosses, and the hum of insects. Beetles scurry through leaf litter, dragonflies skim ponds, and crickets sing in the dusk. The first true flowering plants are still millions of years away, but the greenery is rich and abundant. In open plains, herds gather. Small, nimble herbivores graze on low vegetation, while sauropods strip the high branches above. Their presence reshapes the land. Forests are cleared where herds move, soils are turned by their feet, and rivers are mudded by their crossings. The earth is no passive backdrop. It is sculpted daily by the giants that walk upon it. Beyond the land, the seas of the Jurassic are rich with life. Step into a shallow lagoon, and the water stirs with movement. Ammonites drift, their coiled shells gleaming as they ride the currents. Belemnites dart like squid, their torpedo-shaped bodies leaving trails of bubbles behind them. Fish of every size flash through reefs built by corals that have returned in strength after their near annihilation in the Permian. And among them hunt the great marine reptiles. Ichthyosaurs, streamlined like dolphins, leap from the water in pursuit of prey. Some, like Stenopterygius, give live birth at sea, their young emerging tail first into the water. Others, like the Nothosaurs, patrol shallows with long, paddle-like limbs. Soon, the mighty pliosaurs, short-necked, enormous-jawed cousins of plesiosaurs, will rise as apex predators of the oceans. The seas are no longer barren. They are vibrant once more, filled with ecosystems as complex and competitive as those on land. The skies, too, are changing. Early pterosaurs, fragile pioneers of flight in the Triassic, are now more numerous and diverse. Their wings, stretched skin supported by elongated fingers, carry them far and wide. Some are small, no larger than a bird, gliding along cliffs in search of fish. Others grow larger, their wingspans stretching several meters as they soar above coasts and lakes. Picture standing by a Jurassic shoreline. Overhead, a pterosaur glides silently, its shadow sweeping across the sand. It banks sharply, then dives, snatching a fish from the waves before rising into the air again. For the first time in Earth's history, vertebrates truly command the skies. The Jurassic Dawn is not only the rise of dinosaurs, but the rebirth of ecosystems. After the desolation of the Triassic extinctions, Earth now teems with life once again. Dinosaurs stride across forests and plains, their footsteps shaping the land. Marine reptiles patrol oceans rich with ammonites and fish. Pterosaurs glide between sea and sky. Insects buzz, amphibians lurk, and early mammals, small, mouse-like nocturnal, scurry in the shadows, waiting for their time to come. It is a world of abundance, yet also of constant tension. Predator and prey, giant and small, land and sea, all locked in the endless dance of survival. This is the Jurassic Dawn, the moment when dinosaurs truly claim their crown. They are no longer small opportunists or fragile survivors. They are rulers, and they will hold this throne for over 130 million years. The Earth has entered a new rhythm. The turmoil of the Triassic has given way to a greener, wetter age. Forests stretch across valleys, seas teem with life, and in the sky, pterosaurs glide effortlessly. But nothing defines the Jurassic world more than the giants that now walk the land. For the first time in history, life has reached a scale so immense that the very ground trembles at its passing. These are the sauropods, the largest animals ever to walk on Earth. Imagine yourself standing on a Jurassic plain at dawn. The air is cool and damp, heavy with the smell of ferns and the sweet resin of conifers. A low mist clings to the ground. From the haze ahead, shapes begin to emerge, vast, slow-moving silhouettes. As the sun climbs higher, the mists burn away and the herd is revealed. Dozens of sauropods stretch across the landscape. Their long necks sway above the treetops, reaching for leaves that no other creature can touch. Their tails trail behind them, sweeping in wide arcs, heavy enough to crush saplings with a single swing. Their footsteps sink deep into the soil, leaving tracks that will harden into stone, waiting millions of years for us to discover them. Among them might be Brachiosaurus. Unlike most sauropods, its front legs are longer than its back, tilting its body so that its neck rises like a living crane. Towering over the forest canopy, Brachiosaurus feeds where even other sauropods cannot reach. From below, the sound of branches cracking echoes like distant thunder as it tears down mouthfuls of greenery. Nearby, Diplodocus stretches over 25 meters from head to tail, its body long and whip-like. Its neck swings low across the ground, grazing on ferns and cycads. At the other end, its tail can lash like a whip, snapping with a crack loud enough to echo across the plains, perhaps a defense, perhaps communication between herd members. These creatures are not just large. They are ecosystems in themselves. Birds will not exist for millions of years, but smaller reptiles and insects already follow them, feeding on scraps of plants left behind. Their dung fertilizes the soil, feeding ferns and fungi. Their footsteps carve paths through forests, opening space for new plants to grow. Where sauropods go, entire landscapes change. But even giants must face danger. And in the Jurassic, predators rise to meet them. Step quietly through the undergrowth and you may hear the low growl of Allosaurus. Sleek, muscular, and nearly 9 meters long, it is the apex hunter of the Jurassic. Its skull is wide, its teeth serrated like knives. Its strong legs propel it in sudden bursts of speed, and its arms, though short, end in claws sharp enough to tear flesh. An Allosaurus does not always hunt alone. Evidence from bone beds suggests they may have hunted in groups, coordinating attacks to bring down prey much larger than themselves. A lone sauropod is nearly invincible, but the very young, the sick, or the isolated are vulnerable. Imagine the scene: a juvenile Diplodocus separated from the herd. Shadows circle in the trees. Then, with terrifying speed, the predators strike, leaping, biting, clawing, working together to exhaust their quarry until it collapses. Other predators prowl as well. Ceratosaurus, with its horned snout, stalks the riverbanks, preying on fish, smaller dinosaurs, and carrion left behind. Megalosaurus, one of the first dinosaurs ever named by science, strides through European forests. Each predator fills its niche, but all share the same role, keeping the balance of life, ensuring the giants never rule unchecked. Step beneath the canopy, and the forest swallows you whole. Conifers stretch upward, their trunks straight and tall, their needles whispering in the wind. Cycads grow thick beneath them, squat and palm-like, their crowns of fronds spreading wide. Ginkgos add their fan-shaped leaves to the mix, pale green against the darker conifers. Ferns and horsetails carpet the damp ground, and mushrooms sprout in the shadows, feeding on fallen branches. The air is humid, buzzing with insects. Beetles crawl over bark, dragonflies skim above ponds, and primitive crickets sing unseen in the undergrowth. Lizards scuttle over rocks, their small feet leaving faint trails in the mud. Tiny shrew-like mammals dart through the leaf litter, emerging at night to hunt insects while giants sleep. This is no quiet wilderness. It is alive with the sound of life. The crashing of branches as sauropods feed. The calls of predatory dinosaurs echoing in the distance. The hum of insects. The rush of rivers swollen with seasonal rains. It is a living chorus, carried through the humid air of the Jurassic. Leave the forest and travel to the shore, and the world changes again. Here, the oceans are alive with creatures as strange and vast as those on land. Plesiosaurs glide through the water, their long necks weaving like serpents as they snap at fish. Pliosaurs, shorter-necked but massive-jawed, patrol the deeper seas, their skulls alone larger than a man. Ichthyosaurs, sleek as dolphins, breach the surface in great arcs, scattering spray in the sunlight. Beneath the waves, reefs hum with color and movement. Ammonites drift, their spiral shells coiled like watchful eyes. Belemnites shoot through the water, chased by fish and reptiles alike. Corals build underwater palaces, their branches alive with small, darting fish. The sea is not a place of refuge. It is a battlefield, as full of predators and prey as the plains and forests above. What does it mean for Earth to host such immense creatures? It means ecosystems built around scale. A single sauropod can eat hundreds of kilograms of plant matter each day. Herds strip entire valleys of greenery, then move on, leaving behind bare ground that will regrow in their absence. Predators follow them, waiting for weakness, scavenging when the giants fall. Rivers change course under the trampling of thousands of feet. Forests are pruned by necks that sweep through the canopy. These animals are not just inhabitants of their world. They are its architects. Their presence reshapes landscapes, climates, and even the chemistry of the atmosphere through the vast cycling of plants and carbon. The Jurassic is not only the age of dinosaurs, it is the age of giants. As the Jurassic progresses, dinosaurs become more diverse, more specialized, more dominant. Sauropods stretch to ever greater lengths. Predators sharpen their claws and teeth to match them. Small herbivores adapt to dart between the legs of giants. Early mammals cling to the shadows, waiting patiently. This is Earth in its prime, abundant, balanced, and extraordinary. The reign of the dinosaurs has truly begun. The Earth of the Jurassic is alive with movement. On the ground, sauropods thunder across floodplains and predators prowl the forests. In the seas, ichthyosaurs leap and plesiosaurs glide. But when you lift your eyes to the horizon, a new story unfolds, one written in wings. For the first time in Earth's history, vertebrates truly command the skies. Flight is not new. Insects had already mastered the air hundreds of millions of years earlier, buzzing, gliding, and darting between plants. But vertebrate flight, powered flight begins here. It is the pterosaurs who take the stage. Their wings are not like a bird's. No feathers, no multiple supporting bones. Instead, a single elongated finger stretches outward, supporting a membrane of skin that runs to their sides. Light, hollow bones make their bodies strong yet delicate, built to catch the air. Their chests are broad with powerful flight muscles, their heads long and often adorned with crests. Some are no larger than sparrows, clinging to cliffs and diving for insects. Others stretch wider than a man's arms, gliding gracefully over rivers. With each passing age, they will grow larger and stranger, filling every niche the skies can offer. Picture yourself standing on a Jurassic coastline at dusk. The air is warm and heavy with salt. Waves break against the rocks, scattering spray into the air. Above you, the sky is alive with wings. Small pterosaurs skim the surface of the water, dipping their jaws to snatch fish. Others soar higher, their silhouettes black against the red-orange sky. A few settle onto rocky ledges, their wings folding awkwardly into shapes that look almost ungainly until they leap once more into the wind. The sound is unlike any modern shore. There are no gulls, no albatrosses, no cormorants. Instead, the calls of pterosaurs echo over the surf, sharp, rasping cries that carry across the water. Their wings rustle as they land, their claws scrape on stone. The air itself feels alive with motion. By the middle of the Jurassic, pterosaurs have spread far and wide. Some, like ramphorhynchus, carry long tails tipped with diamond-shaped veins, using them as rudders in the wind. They swoop low over lakes, snapping fish from the surface before climbing back into the sky. Others, like Dimorphodon, have broad wings and strong jaws filled with two kinds of teeth, sharp at the front for catching, broader at the back for crushing. They nest in colonies along cliffs, their calls mingling into a chorus. As time passes, some pterosaurs grow larger still. Their wingspans stretch to 4, 5, 6 meters, allowing them to ride thermals and glide for hours. From above, they watch the movements of herds on the plains and the flashes of fish in the seas, swooping down only when the moment is right. The skies are no longer empty. They are vibrant, dynamic, and contested. But the skies are not theirs alone. On the ground, small feathered dinosaurs are beginning to experiment with air. They are not yet birds, but their bodies hint at what is to come. Their arms are feathered, their tails plumed, their movements light. At first, they use feathers for warmth, for display, for balance as they run. But in time, some will leap, glide, and flutter between branches. The first sparks of avian flight are being kindled in the shadows of the pterosaurs. To stand in the forests of the late Jurassic is to glimpse the future. Small, bird-like dinosaurs dart between branches, their feathers catching the light. They call with chirps and croaks, their sounds unlike the reptilian hisses of their ancestors. They are still primitive, but within them lies the beginning of a revolution. Imagine a single day beneath the skies of this world. Morning. The sun rises, casting gold across the plains. Pterosaurs lift from their roosts on the cliffs, wings beating in the dawn air. Some spiral upward into the currents, gliding effortlessly. Others dive for fish as schools flash in shallow waters. The air fills with the rush of wings. Noon. Heat shimmers across the land. Thermals rise and pterosaurs soar higher, barely moving their wings as they circle above. In the forests, feathered dinosaurs scurry through branches, their small forms darting in and out of the canopy. Insects buzz in the warmth and dragonflies dance above pools of water. Evening. Storm clouds gather. Lightning flickers in the distance. Thunder rolls across the plains. Winds pick up and pterosaurs ride the gusts, their silhouettes flashing against the darkening sky. When rain falls, they retreat to ledges and trees, their wings folding tightly as droplets hiss against the earth. Night. The air cools, the stars blaze overhead. The skies grow quiet but not silent. Small, nocturnal pterosaurs take to the air, their wings whispering in the moonlight as they hunt insects that rise from the damp ground. In the darkness of the forest, feathered dinosaurs stir, gliding between trees like shadows. The cycle continues. The skies of the Jurassic are not isolated from the land and sea. They are woven into the same web of life. Fish leap from rivers to escape hunters, only to be caught by wings above. Insects hatch in swarms, feeding both pterosaurs and feathered dinosaurs. Herds of sauropods move below, their trampling feet stirring up insects that flutter skyward, only to be snatched in midair. Even the carcasses left behind by predators become feeding grounds for scavengers of the sky. Air, land, and water are bound together. To watch the skies is to watch the heartbeat of the entire ecosystem. By the late Jurassic, the first true birds will emerge. Archaeopteryx, found in the limestone of Germany, will carry both feathers and teeth, both wings and claws. It will not yet soar like a gull, but it will glide from branch to branch, half reptile, half bird. From this humble beginning, an entirely new lineage will rise. But for now, in the Jurassic skies, pterosaurs still rule. Their wings cast shadows over the seas, their calls echo across cliffs, and their presence defines the horizon. Look up, and you will see them. A world where the air belongs to reptiles, where the first sparks of bird life glimmer beneath their wings. The skies are no longer empty. They are alive, vast, and full of promise. On land, the ground shakes with the footsteps of sauropods. In the skies, wings cast shadows across the plains. But to truly understand the Jurassic world, we must look to the seas. Here, in the vast blue depths of Earth's oceans, life has undergone its own renaissance. The waters are no longer the barren, suffocating stretches that followed the Great Dying. They are vibrant, filled with predators, prey, and ecosystems as rich and dynamic as any forest or plain above. The oceans of the Jurassic are kingdoms of their own, and their rulers are as strange and fearsome as any dinosaur. Picture the world from above. The supercontinent Pangaea is splitting apart, its surface rifting and tearing into separate lands. As it does, new seas form. Narrow oceans spread between drifting continents, while shallow basins flood valleys and plains. Along these coasts, warm, shallow waters teem with life. Reefs rise like underwater cities, built by corals that survived the earlier extinctions. Sunlight filters down through the surface, illuminating forests of coral, sponges, and seaweed. Schools of fish flash in the light, scattering like silver storms when predators draw near. Beyond the reefs, the seafloor drops away into darkness. Here, the open ocean stretches endlessly. It is a vast hunting ground where speed, power, and endurance mean survival. Perhaps the most striking rulers of these seas are the ichthyosaurs. Their name means fish lizards, but their bodies look more like dolphins. Sleek, streamlined, and built for speed, they cut through the water with effortless grace. Imagine one rising from the depths, a 6-meter predator, its eyes enormous, adapted to see in dim light. With a sudden burst, it leaps from the waves, its body arcing high before crashing back in a spray of foam. Beneath the surface, its jaws snap shut on a school of fish, swallowing them whole. Some ichthyosaurs, like Ophthalmosaurus, have eyes the size of dinner plates, among the largest in the animal kingdom. With these, they hunt in the gloom of deeper waters, chasing squid and fish where sunlight fades. Others, like Stenopterygius, give live birth in the open sea, their young emerging tail first into the water, already swimming from the moment of birth. They are masters of the oceans, swift and adaptable, filling niches once held by sharks and other marine predators. But the ichthyosaurs are not alone. From the same reptilian stock come the plesiosaurs, creatures with bodies like barrels, paddles for limbs, and long, snake-like necks that weave through the water. A plesiosaur glides past you now. Its four flippers beat in slow, powerful strokes, propelling it like an underwater bird. Its neck stretches outward, twisting and darting to snatch fish in quick strikes. At the surface, its small head rises, jaws dripping with seawater before it plunges back down to hunt again. Some plesiosaurs grow massive, stretching over 12 meters. Their long necks allow them to strike with precision, catching fish and squid without moving their heavy bodies. To see a group of them glide together is to witness an eerie ballet of serpentine necks weaving through the blue. Then there are the pliosaurs, close relatives, but with the opposite form. Their necks are short, their heads enormous, their jaws built for crushing. One such predator, Leopleurodon, may reach lengths of 20 meters. Its skull alone is longer than a man, filled with teeth like knives. When it strikes, the sea explodes with force, prey disappearing into its cavernous jaws. The plesiosaurs are the gliders, weaving hunters of fish and squid. The pliosaurs are the powerhouses, kings of ambush and brute strength. Together, they rule the Middle and Late Jurassic Seas. Not all is dominated by giants. Along the coasts, reefs flourish with smaller life. Corals build intricate structures that rise from the seafloor, their branches alive with color. Fish weave through the coral, bright scales flashing as they dart in and out of hiding. Sea urchins crawl across the rocks, grazing on algae. Crustaceans scuttle through crevices, their shells clattering softly against stone. Ammonites drift overhead, their coiled shells bobbing with each pulse of their tentacles. They are distant cousins of squid, and their numbers are vast. Some are small, no larger than a coin. Others grow to the size of wagon wheels, their shells heavy and ridged. They are prey to many, yet they thrive in staggering abundance, their shells littering seafloors when they die. Belemnites, too, swarm through the waters. Unlike ammonites, their bodies are torpedo-shaped, built for speed. They dart in tight schools, hunted by both reptiles and fish. When chased, they release ink, a cloud of darkness that hides their retreat, a trick that their modern descendants, squid, still use today. The Jurassic Seas are no less violent than the plains above. Picture a pod of ichthyosaurs hunting. They move together, surrounding a school of fish. With a flash of tails, they drive the fish into a tight ball, then charge through in turns, snapping jaws filling with prey. The water churns with movement, scales flashing in the sunlight before sinking to the depths. Elsewhere, a pliosaur lurks in the gloom. It waits motionless, its vast body hidden in the blue. Then, with terrifying speed, it surges upward, jaws snapping shut around a smaller plesiosaur. The sea explodes in bubbles and thrashing limbs. Blood drifts upward, mingling with the sunlight. The predator vanishes again into the depths, leaving silence behind. These are seas of abundance, but also of peril. Survival belongs to the swift, the clever, and the powerful. Not every moment is filled with violence. There is beauty, too, in the rhythm of the oceans. At dawn, the tide retreats, exposing wide mudflats where small reptiles scuttle and pterosaurs pick for stranded fish. As the sun climbs, waves return, covering the flats and filling the lagoons with life. The sea shines like liquid glass, broken only by the leap of ichthyosaurs and the ripples of plesiosaurs. By night, the waters glow faintly with bioluminescence. Tiny plankton light the waves with sparks of green and blue. Each movement leaves trails of fire beneath the surface. Imagine watching a plesiosaur swim under the stars, its paddles stirring glowing currents that trace its path through the dark. The Jurassic Seas are more than hunting grounds. They are theaters of light, sound, and life, worlds within worlds, always shifting, always alive. To live in the Jurassic is to live with oceans that never seem to end. From the shores of Pangaea's fragments to the open waters of Panthalassa, these seas dominate Earth's surface. They carry storms across continents, feed rains into forests, and shape the very climate of the planet. And within them, reptiles, fish, and invertebrates compete in endless cycles of growth and decline. The oceans are as much a stage of the dinosaur age as the plains and forests. But here, the giants wear fins and flippers instead of legs, their power hidden beneath the waves. Look across the horizon and imagine it. The spray of ichthyosaurs breaking the surface, the long necks of plesiosaurs weaving in the waves, the shadow of a pliosaur lurking just below. This is the other world of the Jurassic, a world where the sea itself is alive with monsters. Step away from the shorelines and oceans. Walk inland, past the floodplains and the tracks of sauropod herds. Before long, the ground begins to rise. Hills swell gently upward, valleys carve deep shadows, and soon you find yourself beneath the living ceiling of the Jurassic world. It's forests. These are not the forests we know today. There are no oaks, no maples, no fruit trees heavy with flowers. The forests of the Jurassic are older, stranger, and dominated by plants that today seem primitive, but in their time they ruled the land. Look up. Towering above you are conifers, the backbone of Jurassic plant life. Their trunks are thick, their bark rough, their needles clustered in dense sprays. Some stretch 30 meters high, their tops swaying in the wind, forming a green roof that filters the sunlight into golden shafts. Cycads grow in clusters, squat and palm-like, their crowns fanning out with stiff fronds. Their trunks are rough and scaly, their leaves dark and waxy, built to endure the shifting climates. Nearby stand ginkgos, with their fan-shaped leaves, pale green and delicate against the harsher conifers. Horsetails rise like stalks of bamboo near streams, their hollow stems whispering as the breeze passes through. Together, these plants form a forest unlike any today, ancient, alien, but thriving. Take a deep breath. The air itself feels different here. The Jurassic atmosphere carries more oxygen and carbon dioxide than today's. Each breath feels heavy, humid, and warm. Insects hum loudly in the stillness, their wings catching the light. The forest floor is damp, covered in fallen needles, fronds, and the soft decay of plants feeding the soil. Everywhere is the smell of resin, sharp, sweet, and sticky. Sap drips from wounded trees, hardening into amber. Within it, tiny insects and leaves are trapped, frozen forever in golden glass. Millions of years later, we will find these jewels and see in them snapshots of this lost world. Beneath the towering trees, life takes on a smaller scale. Tiny lizards scurry across the ground, flicking tongues in search of insects. Primitive frogs crouch near pools, their bodies camouflaged among ferns. Beetles, ants, and early termites chew through dead wood, turning fallen branches into soil. Dragonflies with shimmering wings flash between beams of light, their bodies iridescent green and blue. And in the shadows, small mammals emerge. They are no larger than mice or shrews, their bodies covered in fur, their movements quick and secretive. By day, they hide from predators, sleeping in burrows or hollows. By night, they scurry out to hunt insects, nibble seeds, and nurse their young. They are fragile, but they are survivors. Though dwarfed by the dinosaurs, they carry the lineage that will one day outlast them. Close your eyes and listen. The forest is alive with sound. The hum of insects rises in waves, broken by the sharp chirps of early crickets. Frogs croak from the edges of ponds, their calls echoing against the trunks. Lizards rustle through dry leaves, their claws scratching against bark. Above, the forests shake with deeper sounds. The creak and snap of branches as a sauropod pushes its way through the canopy, its long neck tearing fronds from the tallest trees. The low rumble of communication between herd members, felt as much in the chest as in the ears. The distant roar of a predator carries across the valleys, startling flocks of pterosaurs into the sky. The forest is never silent. Every moment, every corner is filled with life. The Jurassic Forest is a place of contrasts. Where the canopy is thick, light filters down in narrow beams, illuminating patches of ferns and moss. Here, the air is cool and damp and fungi thrive, their caps broad and pale. Insects crawl along decaying logs, their bodies shining as they chew through wood. But where the canopy breaks, light pours in and the forest explodes with growth. Young cycads push upward, competing for space. Horsetails crowd the banks of streams, their stems swaying in the current. Sauropods follow these clearings, grazing heavily, leaving behind trampled soil and paths wide enough to reshape the forest. The dance of light and shadow governs the rhythm of the Jurassic woods, just as much as predator and prey. Even here, in the dampness of forests, fire has a role to play. Lightning storms sweep across the Jurassic world, igniting dry wood and undergrowth. Flames roar through the trees, driving animals into rivers and valleys. But fire is not only destruction. In its wake, the soil is cleared, enriched with ash, ready for new plants to sprout. Seeds that require heat to germinate burst open, covering blackened ground with green shoots. Insects swarm to feed on charred remains, attracting reptiles and small mammals. The forest burns, the forest regrows, and life continues in cycles of destruction and renewal. And always, above and around, there are the dinosaurs. Picture a herd of Apatosaurus, their massive bodies weaving slowly between trees. Each step presses deep into the soil, their tails dragging behind them, knocking down saplings. Their necks stretch upward, stripping branches from the canopy, their chewing echoing like the tearing of cloth. Predators stalk these woods too. Allosaurus crouches in the shadows, its eyes glinting, waiting for a young or injured sauropod to stray. Smaller carnivores dash between tree trunks, hunting lizards and mammals. The forest floor may feel calm in one moment, but at any time it can erupt in violence, a chase, a strike, a kill. For the mammals, the insects, even the small reptiles, survival means silence, swiftness, and shadows. For the giants, survival means strength, endurance, and constant motion. The forest is home to them all, but it is no sanctuary. It is a battlefield written in green. And yet step back and you feel the awe of it. The conifers rise like pillars, their trunks stretching upward into a vaulted ceiling of green. The air is thick with scent, sound, and motion. Sunlight filters through in golden shafts, illuminating dust and spores that drift like incense. It feels less like a forest, and more like a living cathedral, vast, ancient, and timeless. A place where the earth itself breathes through roots and leaves, and where every creature, great or small, plays its part in the endless chorus of life. This is the Jurassic Forest, a world alive with giants, buzzing with insects, whispering with plants. A world that hums with energy, mystery, and the endless persistence of life. The Jurassic world is lush, abundant, and filled with life. Herds of sauropods roam floodplains. Forests stretch unbroken for miles. The seas themselves teem with creatures of every shape and size. But in every ecosystem there must be balance, and that balance comes in the form of predators. Here, in the Jurassic, the predators are formidable. They are the hunters that stalk herds, the scavengers that strip carcasses, and the shadows that smaller creatures fear in the night. They are the apex predators, and their presence defines the drama of the age. Among them, none is more famous than Allosaurus. Step into a Jurassic valley, and you may hear its roar carry across the plain. A deep, rasping call, not unlike the bellow of a crocodile, but louder, more resonant. Then it emerges from the trees. 9 meters long, its skull broad and lined with serrated teeth. Its arms, though short, are strong, ending in claws sharp enough to pierce flesh. Its legs are long and muscular, built for bursts of speed. Its eyes glint with forward-facing vision, giving it the ability to judge distance with deadly precision. Allosaurus is not the largest predator of all time, but it is one of the most efficient. It is the lion of the Jurassic, powerful, social, and cunning. Fossil sites suggest they may have hunted in groups, coordinating their attacks to bring down prey much larger than themselves. Picture a herd of young sauropods moving along a floodplain. From the tree line, shadows move. One Allosaurus rushes forward, startling the herd. Panic spreads, and in the chaos, a juvenile strays from its mother. Then the others strike. From both sides they lunge, jaws snapping, claws slashing. The young sauropod stumbles. Within moments it is overwhelmed. This is the strategy of Allosaurus: divide, isolate, and strike together. Not all predators hunt in packs. Some prefer stealth. Along the banks of rivers, crouched in the reeds, waits Ceratosaurus. Smaller than Allosaurus, but no less deadly, this predator bears a distinctive horn above its snout. Its body is long and sinuous, its tail thick and muscular, perfect for swimming. While Allosaurus chases herds across plains, Ceratosaurus lurks in water, striking fish, amphibians, and unwary dinosaurs that come to drink. Its teeth are long and blade-like, perfect for slashing. Its jaws are flexible, capable of twisting prey into submission. To the casual eye, Ceratosaurus may look less imposing than Allosaurus. But in its environment, rivers, swamps, and forests, it is a master. A solitary shadow that appears when least expected, then vanishes again into the reeds. Across the seas, in what will one day be Europe, another predator dominates: Megalosaurus. First described by scientists in the early 1800s, Megalosaurus holds a special place in history as the first dinosaur ever formally named. But in its time, it is more than just a curiosity. It is a giant of its ecosystem. Up to 10 meters long, Megalosaurus is a powerhouse. Its jaws close with bone-crushing force. Its strides cover ground swiftly, driving prey into panic. Though not as sleek as Allosaurus, it is no less dangerous. It dominates the forests and plains of Europe, filling the same role as its American cousin. Wherever it goes, smaller predators scatter. Its presence is enough to silence a valley. Why does the Jurassic world produce such formidable hunters? The answer lies in the giants they hunt. With sauropods growing to lengths of 20 meters or more, only the strongest predators can challenge them. The arms race drives both sides. Herbivores grow larger for defense, and carnivores grow stronger, faster, and more cunning to match. Predators also shape the world in subtler ways. By culling the weak, the sick, and the young, they keep herds healthy. By scavenging carcasses, they recycle nutrients into the soil. Even their presence, the fear they inspire, shapes the behavior of prey, guiding where herds graze and how they move. The Jurassic predators are not just killers. They are caretakers of balance, ensuring no one species dominates unchecked. Close your eyes and imagine a single hunt. The day is hot. A herd of Diplodocus grazes in a shallow valley, necks swaying as they strip leaves from conifers. The ground trembles with their steps. Dust rises in golden clouds. From the shadows, a group of Allosaurus watches. They wait patiently, muscles coiled, eyes fixed on the herd. One shifts its weight, tail swaying in anticipation. The leader lowers its head, signaling. With a sudden roar, they charge. The herd erupts in panic. Adults swing their tails like whips, cracking the air with terrifying force. But the hunters are not after them. They circle, cutting a juvenile from the group. The young one stumbles, its smaller size unable to match the speed of the herd. The predators close in. One leaps, claws sinking into flesh. Another bites at the legs, forcing the giant to stumble. A third lunges at the neck. The valley fills with roars, bellows, and the thunder of feet. Within minutes, the dust settles. The herd moves on, leaving the hunters to feed. The hunt is brutal, but it is life. In this struggle lies the heartbeat of the Jurassic. Not all predators hunt by day. As the sun sinks and the forest grows dark, smaller carnivores emerge. Some are only a few meters long, quick and agile, hunting lizards, insects, and mammals. Their calls echo through the trees, sharp and piercing. In the darkness, the glowing eyes of Ceratosaurus glint above the riverbank. Frogs fall silent, sensing danger. The night is no refuge here, only another stage for the endless dance of predator and prey. To live in the Jurassic is to live with the constant presence of predators. For the small, it means vigilance. For the giants, it means strength in numbers. For the predators themselves, it means endless hunger, driving them to chase, to stalk, to kill. They are not villains in this story. They are as much a part of the world as the trees, the rivers, and the herds they hunt. Without them, the balance would collapse. The Jurassic predators are not just hunters. They are the pulse of the land, the sharp edge of survival, the shadow that keeps the forest alive. When we think of the Jurassic, our minds fill with images of towering sauropods, fearsome predators, and vast reptiles soaring through the skies or swimming in the seas. Yet much of the life that defined this age was far smaller, quieter, and often hidden from view. Beneath the thunder of giants and the roars of predators lived another world, a world of insects, amphibians, and small mammals. They did not dominate the stage in size or power, but their persistence, adaptability, and ingenuity made them just as vital to the story of life. Step into a Jurassic forest clearing, and you will hear them before you see them. The hum of wings, the chirp of crickets, the steady buzz of beetles. Insects were everywhere. They crawled across bark, swarmed over flowers to be, and flitted through shafts of sunlight in dazzling clouds. Dragonflies skimmed over pools, their wings flashing iridescent blue and green. Beetles with hard shells dug into rotting wood, breaking it down into soil. Early wasps and flies hovered above carcasses, laying eggs that would become the next generation of scavengers. Termites gnawed on dead wood, their colonies hidden within fallen trunks. Ants had not yet appeared, but social insect behavior was beginning to take root in some lineages. Cicadas emerged from the ground to sing in the treetops, their calls filling the forest air with waves of sound. Though small, insects were the engineers of ecosystems. They pollinated cycads and ginkgos, spread spores, recycled waste, and fed countless reptiles, amphibians, and mammals. Without their ceaseless work, the forests would not have thrived. Near rivers and swamps, you might glimpse another world, one older still. Amphibians, survivors from long before the dinosaurs, still linger in the Jurassic. Frogs croak along ponds, their bodies small and nimble, blending into the ferns. Salamander-like creatures slip silently through the water, their gills fluttering as they hunt insects and small fish. Some grow larger, nearly a meter long, crouched in the mud like patient hunters, waiting to lunge at passing prey. Though diminished from their Permian glory, amphibians remain tied to the water, their eggs soft and fragile, their lives dependent on dampness. They are reminders of a time when life first crept onto land, and though they no longer rule, they persist in the margins, adapting to the shadows where giants do not tread. And then, there are the mammals. They are small, no larger than a mouse or rat. Covered in fur, they scurry through undergrowth and burrow into the soil. By day, they sleep hidden from predators. By night, they emerge to feed on insects, seeds, and perhaps the eggs of reptiles. Their senses are sharp. Their eyes see in the dim glow of the moon. Their whiskers twitch at the faintest movement. Their ears catch the rustle of wings or the hiss of predators. In a world dominated by giants, survival depends on silence, speed, and caution. Fossils tell us that these early mammals were already experimenting with diversity. Some were insect eaters, with sharp teeth and quick reflexes. Others may have gnawed plants or scavenged scraps. They were warm-blooded, fur-covered, and agile, qualities that gave them an edge in the cool nights of the Jurassic. Though overlooked in their time, they carried within them the seeds of the future. Long after the reign of the dinosaurs ended, it would be these tiny survivors who rose to fill the world. Walk through a Jurassic forest and notice only the giants is to miss the true complexity of life. Beneath every towering sauropod, beetles scurry through dung, recycling nutrients into the soil. Behind every predator's kill, flies swarm, larvae feeding on flesh and returning minerals to the earth. In the shadows of every tree, mammals hunt insects, keeping populations in balance. The world of the small kept the world of the large alive. They were the roots of the ecosystem, the silent workers who sustained the giants that captured our imagination. Picture one night in the forest. The sun has set and the giants are quiet, their silhouettes dark against the horizon. The air cools and mist gathers in the low ground. From the soil, insects rise, wings glittering faintly in the moonlight. Frogs croak, their voices echoing in the stillness. From a burrow, a small mammal emerges. Its fur bristles as it sniffs the air. Quietly, it darts forward, seizing a beetle in its tiny jaws. It chews quickly, listening all the while for the snap of a predator's twig. A rustle in the ferns makes it freeze. Only when silence returns does it move again. This world is fragile, but it endures. Beneath the thunder of sauropods, beneath the roar of Allosaurus, beneath the swoop of pterosaurs, the world of the small continues unnoticed, uncelebrated but vital. The Jurassic belongs to the dinosaurs in spectacle, but in truth, it is shared. Giants walk the land, yes, but so do beetles, frogs, and shrew-like mammals. Each depends on the other. The fall of one would unravel the balance of all. The story of the Jurassic is not only about the rulers of the earth. It is about the persistence of the small, the quiet, the hidden. The creatures who remind us that survival is not measured only in size, but in adaptability, patience, and endurance. And so, while the sauropods roared and the predators hunted, the world of the small carried on. Silent, watchful, waiting. By the middle of the Jurassic, the Earth has entered its golden age. The chaos of the Triassic is long past. The world has recovered from fire and extinction, and the reign of the dinosaurs is no longer in doubt. Giants stride across the land, predators stalk the shadows, and in the seas and skies, reptiles rule without challenge. This is the peak of the Jurassic, an age of abundance, balance, and life at its grandest scale. The sauropods, already immense, now reach staggering sizes. In the floodplains of North America, Apatosaurus and Diplodocus march in herds that stretch for kilometers. Their long necks weave together like ships' masts, their tails swaying like whips. Each step shakes the ground, pressing footprints deep into the mud. In Africa, Juraphaeton, once called Brachiosaurus, towers above the canopy. Its neck arches nearly 15 meters into the air, plucking fronds from the tallest conifers. From the forest floor, it is as though a living tower moves above you, blotting out the sky as it feeds. In China, Mamenchisaurus stretches even longer, its neck alone more than half its body length. It grazes both high and low, sweeping across trees with slow, deliberate movements. These creatures are not only large, they are landscape-shaping forces. They clear forests, spread seeds in their dung, and trample new paths across valleys. To see a herd pass is to witness Earth itself in motion. Where there are giants, there must also be hunters. Allosaurus, the apex predator of this age, is widespread, patrolling plains and forests alike. It is sleek and deadly, its serrated teeth leaving marks on sauropod bones we still find today. Its hunting strategy is efficient, target the weak, the young, and the stragglers. But Allosaurus does not hunt alone. Other predators share the land. Ceratosaurus lurks near rivers. Torvosaurus, a massive theropod, prowls Europe, rivaling Allosaurus in size and strength. Smaller predators dart between them, feeding on lizards, mammals, and scraps left behind. The balance is clear. No single predator dominates entirely. Each fills its niche, and each is necessary to keep the giants in check. The forests themselves are in full bloom. Conifers dominate, their trunks thick and straight, their crowns spreading wide. Cycads and ginkgos fill the understory, their fronds shimmering in sunlight. Horsetails grow in vast stands near rivers, their hollow stalks reaching higher than a man. The air is humid, heavy with the scent of resin. Insects swarm in dazzling numbers, their buzzing a constant background hum. Dragonflies skim pools. Beetles crawl across bark. Early flies and wasps dart through shafts of light, feeding on sap and carcasses. Beneath the giants, the forest floor is alive with movement. Lizards scurry under ferns, frogs croak near streams, and mammals scuttle in the leaf litter. At night, the forest glows with the eyes of small hunters, mammals and reptiles alike, all weaving their lives in the shadow of dinosaurs. The oceans, too, are at their richest. Ichthyosaurs still reign, their bodies sleek and dolphin-like, slicing through waves in pods. Plesiosaurs glide in groups, their long necks weaving through schools of fish. Pliosaurs dominate the deeper seas, their enormous jaws snapping shut around prey too large for anything else. Ammonites drift in countless numbers, their shells spiraled and ridged. Belemnites flash through the water like silver darts, ink clouds blooming behind them when threatened. Reefs stretch wide along coasts, their corals alive with fish, crabs, and mollusks. From above, the sea is a tapestry of motion. Reptiles breaching, schools flashing, wings of pterosaurs casting shadows across the surface. Above it all, the skies are vibrant. Pterosaurs soar across coasts and valleys, their wings catching thermals, their crests glowing in the light. Some are small, no bigger than crows darting after insects. Others are vast, their wingspans stretching meters across, gliding effortlessly for hours. And within the forests, the first birds take flight. Archaeopteryx, feathered and fragile, glides between branches. It is half reptile, half bird, a creature of transition, a glimpse of what is to come. Its calls echo through the canopy, a new voice in the chorus of the Jurassic. The skies are no longer empty. They are layered with wings, alive with movement, and filled with the promise of new beginnings. At this peak, life seems unstoppable. The continents are lush, the oceans rich, the skies full. Dinosaurs dominate the land as never before. Giants graze in herds that stretch to the horizon. Predators balance their numbers with efficient, ruthless hunts. Small creatures fill every niche, recycling, pollinating, and waiting for their chance. It is a world in equilibrium, a golden age where life thrives in abundance, each part of the web supporting the other. But history tells us that no age lasts forever. Beneath the surface, the continents continue to drift. Volcanoes stir in the deep. Climates shift ever so slowly. Change is constant, even when it hides beneath the illusion of stability. The Jurassic stands as the pinnacle of the dinosaurs' rise, but already shadows of change are gathering on the horizon. The Jurassic world seems eternal. Herds of sauropods march across floodplains, predators stalk the shadows, pterosaurs sweep the skies, and the seas shimmer with ichthyosaurs and plesiosaurs. The forests hum with insects, the nights stir with mammals. It is a golden balance. And yet no balance lasts forever. Beneath the surface, the earth is shifting. slowly, silently, but with the power to reshape the world once again. Pangaea, the supercontinent that once united almost all land, is breaking apart. Cracks split through its heart, and over millions of years, the pieces drift away from one another. The first signs are visible along coastlines, where rift valleys widen into shallow seas. These new waters bring fresh climates, humid coasts, fertile basins, and changing winds. Where once deserts stretched endlessly inland, now rains fall more steadily, nurturing new forests. But the movement also brings separation. Animals once connected across vast ranges begin to split into isolated populations. In time, this will drive evolution into new forms, unique to each fragment of land. Dinosaurs will diversify further, their lineages branching into creatures stranger and more specialized than ever before. With drifting continents come shifting climates. Some regions grow wetter, forests thickening with greenery. Others dry into open plains and deserts. Seasonal extremes deepen in some areas, while elsewhere mild and stable weather takes hold. Dinosaurs adapt, but slowly the face of the earth begins to change. Some sauropods grow larger, reaching truly colossal sizes to exploit endless supplies of vegetation. Others shrink or adapt to different niches, feeding low or high, solitary or in herds. Predators follow suit, diversifying into new hunters built for speed, ambush, or power. The balance of the Jurassic remains, but under the surface, the seeds of transformation are already sown. In the shadows of the familiar giants, new creatures are rising. Bird-like dinosaurs are becoming more common, their feathers no longer just for warmth but for display, balance, and gliding. In time, these lineages will give rise to true birds that fill the skies in ways pterosaurs never imagined. Small mammals, too, are beginning to branch into diverse forms. Some specialize in eating insects, others in seeds or plants. They remain tiny and unobtrusive, but with each generation, they refine their survival strategies. They cannot yet challenge the dinosaurs, but they are patient. Their time will come. Even the seas are changing. Ichthyosaurs, once supreme, begin to decline. Plesiosaurs and pliosaurs remain strong, but new forms of fish are spreading faster and more adaptable. Sharks diversify, honing the body plan they still use today. The ocean remains rich, but the balance is tilting. Predators and prey are locked in an evolutionary arms race, and those that fail to adapt begin to fade from the record. The Jurassic is not ending yet. It still has millions of years of stability, millions of years of giants and abundance. But every age carries within it the seeds of the next. The slow rifting of continents will one day open the Atlantic Ocean. The rise of flowering plants will transform landscapes, bringing color and fragrance to forests for the first time. New dinosaurs will evolve, horned, plated, duck-billed, and eventually the iconic Tyrannosaurus rex. The Cretaceous lies ahead, waiting beyond the horizon of time. And beyond that still, a final great cataclysm that will sweep the dinosaurs away forever. But that is not yet. For now, in the Jurassic, we stand at the peak, watching the first shadows of change creep across a world still vibrant with life. History does not stop, and Earth never stays still. The story of the Jurassic is one chapter in the greater book of life, a chapter full of giants, balance, and transformation. Already, the stage is being set for what comes next. And so, as we near the end of this journey, we leave the forests, the plains, the seas, and the skies of the Jurassic behind. We carry with us the sound of sauropod footsteps, the cry of pterosaurs, the shimmer of ammonites in the sea. Ahead lies change, but behind us lies wonder. We have walked together through a vanished world. We have stood on the cracked deserts of the Triassic, where life recovered from disaster and the first dinosaurs stepped quietly into existence. We have followed them into the Jurassic, where giants rose to dominate the land, predators stalked in balance, pterosaurs ruled the skies, and the seas shimmered with strange, sleek hunters. We have knelt among the small and the hidden, the insects, the frogs, the early mammals, and seen how even the tiniest lives held the keys to the future. We have witnessed the peak of abundance, when life flourished in harmony, only to glimpse the shadows of change already shaping the next age. And now, as our journey ends, we stand not in the deep past but in the present. Though the world of the dinosaurs is gone, its echoes surround us. The birds that take flight above your head are their descendants, carrying feathers, hollow bones, and songs inherited from small, feathered ancestors of the Jurassic. The forests around us still hold ginkgos, cycads, and conifers, living fossils that once shaded herds of sauropods. Even the insects that hum in the summer air trace their lineage to the buzzing forests of the Triassic and Jurassic. Every footprint we find in stone, every fossil unearthed from ancient rock, is a reminder. The past is never truly gone. It is written in the world around us if we know how to see it. The story of the dawn of dinosaurs is not only about giants or predators. It is about survival, resilience, and change. After the greatest extinction in Earth's history, life returned. It adapted. It reshaped itself. From small beginnings came giants. From shadows came rulers. And even as the world shifted again and again, life endured. It reminds us that our planet is not fixed but alive, always moving, always changing. What seems eternal is often only a moment, and what seems fragile may outlast empires of giants. Imagine the footsteps of sauropods fading into the distance. Imagine the roars of predators echoing away into silence. Imagine the rustle of ferns, the crash of waves, the sweep of wings, all slowly dissolving into the quiet of the present. When you open your eyes, you are here again, in the world we know. But perhaps just for a moment you can still feel the weight of that ancient earth, the heat of its air, the tremor of its giants, the hum of its forests. The age of dinosaurs has passed, but its story is not lost. It lives in stone, in fossils, in the DNA of the creatures that surround us today. It lives in our imagination, when we look at the stars and wonder how long life has endured, how much it has changed, and how much it will continue to. The dawn of dinosaurs was not just the beginning of their reign. It was part of a greater story, the story of life itself, rising again and again from the ashes of catastrophe, shaping worlds beyond worlds. And in that story we too are a chapter, walking the same earth that once belonged to them. This concludes our journey through the dawn and rise of the dinosaurs, a world of deserts, forests, seas, skies, giants, and shadows. A world gone, yet never truly forgotten.